Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal Podcast, and I am your host, Sean Ellis. And tonight we have part 2 of the round table. Tonight we will have Miss Lady Victoria Darkwood.
Hello.
Alfredo from Spectre Paranormal.
Hello.
And Hiccup.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey. How you doing?
And then we've got several people in the house already. Here we go. Everybody's saying hi. Sarah Bowman. Let's see. Chemical Neurorub.
Michael.
Oh, Michael. Okay, cool. Dragon Ranger.
Hey.
Sagrat.
Hey, Oracle. Good to see you.
Let's see who else we got here. Raw Side Paranormal Laura is in the house.
Hey, Laura.
Oracle is in the house.
Hey.
Let's see who else. Yeah, we got quite a few in here already. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in tonight. And if you got any questions, holler. Tonight, I think we'll cover a little bit on equipment and haunted objects. What do you guys think?
Sounds like a plan.
All righty. David, equipment, good ones, bad ones. What do you like?
I like using the K2 meter. But I like some of the old school methods, like candles. And another thing I've used before, I need to make another one, is a have you ever encountered a room that you had a spirit that wanted to communicate, but they couldn't create enough energy, they would go fade in and out. So we built a little Tesla coil, and it would spark, and they would actually get their energy from that, and it would amplify their ability to communicate.
Yeah, I actually have a mini Tesla coil, and I use it just for that.
And they work.
Oh yeah, they do. I just would never want to, how do I say, give energy to something that that could be super bad in there until you actually figure out what it is, though.
Exactly. But that I usually leave that to later, depending on what's going on.
I definitely agree. That, yeah, because the Tesla coil is actually one of my favorite, along with the REM pod.
The REM pods are great.
As long as you don't have your phone on next to them and sitting right on top of them.
Yeah.
But I do like my infrared scope.
Yeah, those are nice too.
I like the spirit box, amplified spirit box that you built, Dave.
Oh, I built a portal spirit box.
Yeah.
That's
They
cool.
like that.
I would vote not to use any equipment you purchased on Temu. You laugh, but I know someone.
I've never bought anything off Temu.
Oh, he's recently got more into the metaphysical side of things and bought a pendulum and some other stuff from Temu. And I was like, dude, no.
Yeah, you're not sure what's attached to that already.
Yeah. Lady Victoria, your favorite piece
John.
your favorite equipment, and good and bad.
I basically, I go with the basics because I like using myself as a tool. Since I'm intuitive and clairvoyant, I don't really rely a lot of equipment. I mean, it is good for backup in case you need to confirm something. I do, however, I take temperature readings as I go into an investigation, and I actually draw a layout of the outlets, etc., in case, after dark, I come across like high EMF. Occasionally I use like lights or dowsing rods definitely recorders, but I place them down because I don't like walking around with them because it could cause a lot of interruptions and frequencies. But that's about it. I just basically go in and just like feel my way around.
I will agree with that as well. I do like using energy work inside of an investigation or around an investigation. But like you said, to actually, for somebody that can't sense that or feel it in the equipment that's around, that will just verify that it's there.
Yep, very true.
We got Oracle 684. It says you guys are from Illinois as well. I see. I'm from Illinois. I'm from Galesburg, Illinois. I know Alfredo is from Illinois, up by Rock Island, right?
Right on the border of Iowa and Illinois.
And David and his team is up by the Peoria area, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
There we are.
Yep.
And Susan Victoria is from up by the Boston area.
Although Oracle is saying I have a New York accent. So yeah. But yeah, I was born and raised in Boston.
Oh.
Next time, I'm going to try to make it that way. I want to team up with you and Victor, that's for sure. Alfredo, equipment in your opinion.
A go-to for sure is a millimeter, just to get the readings of EMF and temperature checks. It's, it's got so many tools in one. But I like to go in, try to get a base sense first, my intuition first, and then do another walkthrough with the millimeter to get base readings and EMF, and to see if my intuition is lining up with what the equipment put first. I like to go in first with my own like senses, whether it's metaphysical or it's logical thinking. All this is like seeing wiring could cause EMF, or like any other investigator would do.
Mm-hmm.
But then using the equipment like the millimeter, or I like to get feelers with either an Ovilus, the Ovilus 5B, or I know a lot of people are against using apps on phones, which I understand, but if you find the right application or the right developer that know what they're doing and not just trying to sell you tricks, there's this application I use called Ghost by M3 Science. I think I spent $14.99 for that in the App Store, and that pretty much unlocks a lot of features that you already have on your phone, like the magnometer, which you can check for EMF. It's got the light sensor, the LiDAR. It's nice to have when you don't want to have if you don't have your whole kit with you, you go out for a walk, and if you have a feeling you want to sense something or
right,
then it's pretty convenient to have.
Yeah. I have actually had experience with a couple phone apps that I thought were really good. One was Necker Dice. I know a lot of people didn't like that, but I've been on an investigation at a house, and we were doing the investigation, and it pointed us to a direction into a room that inside of a book had a letter in it, and we never knew nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually worked that time, and it worked really well, and they kept giving us hints to go toward that direction. And come to find out, we were kind of going through the person's belongings there at the time, and we actually found a letter describing some of the stuff he was going through, why we were there to begin with in the first place, and nobody knew anything about it. But the Necker Dice app actually took us to that location in that room.
That's very interesting.
That's amazing.
I'm a little skeptical when it comes to people who are sensitive. Just that grain of salt thing, because I don't want to discount anybody who is, but I could say that I'm talking to the Pope. I like that when you can capture that empirical evidence where you can say, this is what I got, and other people can experience it too. It's harder to do when you are sensitive because nobody can experience what you can, which is unfortunate.
Right.
Which is why, like, I started leaning towards the equipment side a little bit to help back up and try to test my own intuition to see if it lines up. And
Yeah.
I was actually at a paranormal convention a few weeks ago. That was in Davenport at the River Center, and I ran into a friend of mine who is a psychic medium, and he goes by Aaron Schultz. I haven't seen him in years, and it was really cool seeing him. And he saw me with my bag, and he saw me with I had my tripod with my phone on because I was taking pictures and video. I catching up with them. He says, you don't need all that stuff, Alfredo. You're good. You're very sensitive. You're onto this thing. But I said, I know I don't need this stuff, but this is just to help, kind of bring proof to what I bring to the table to an investor. Well, and also with having the degrees in electronic engineering technology, bachelor's degrees, knowing how equipment work, I can explain how that works and what it's not supposed to do. It helped me with an edge of better understanding of what's going on, and hopefully try to bridge that gap of pseudoscience and actual science, because there's always like, well, that's not real, that's not work,
Right.
Someone can be sending you messages on your phone and it's not supernatural, which it could be the case, but if you got airplane mode on, there's different variables you can test to make sure, but there's other equipment or your other sensitivities you could use as well.
We have a question here. It says, what kind of data do you think you're collecting from equipment, and how do you interpret it?
Temperature changes. A lot of devices that are out in the market for paranormal investigations, they use temperature, EMF, light, to collect the data. If say for example, you have the laser grid array, stop, and it has features where you've got the laser grid on. You measure the distance between it. How do I explain this? I write down temperatures as one, the time of day, EMF levels, and if I'm continuously investigating a single area, then I have more time to get more data, and then I go home and I try to see, for example, the Ovilus 5B. You get a dictionary full of names and words that come up. And some of them are relevant, a lot of them are not.
True.
So I take screenshots of those pages and I save them. I go back to the location later, a week later, or whenever I can get back to that location to investigate. I see if those same words come back up, and then the frequency of how the words come up. The possibilities are endless as long as you keep track of your data and share it with others. You could really learn a lot from not just the science of the technology of the equipment itself, but also the paranormal, what's possible that we haven't even figured out yet.
I like video recording anytime any instruments are going out of the normal. Video recording K2 meters, temperature drops, stuff like that, because that's something I can review later, and the camera may see something I didn't. And especially with voice recorders, I mean, we've gotten some EVPs that we absolutely cannot explain. Woman investigator off by herself getting a man's voice saying he was the person on the headstone who she was standing next to, and asking us to fix the urn that had fallen off. I have no explanation for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think me and Susan, being clairvoyant the way we are, the energy that we get off people, can say a lot as well. It's just like you can feel that energy and decipher it. It's just like when we were talking after the show, with your friend here in the corner. I can't remember her name. Right.
Sylvia.
Sylvia. When we were talking at the end of the show last week, she has a link to Anubis and the Egyptians. And, but yeah, and she'll find that out when she starts working with her energy a little more as well. But yeah, the energy is awesome when you come across that one.
Someone asked a few minutes ago about theremins, and I actually have a theremin that I made. I can't afford a REM pod right now, but I can afford a little theremin kit, and I made one and put it inside of a teddy bear that I picked up from Goodwill for like $3. So made my own Boo Bear, essentially. I haven't taken it out on very many investigations. It's kind of a new piece of equipment for me. But I was able to take it to the Dead Children's Playground outside of Huntsville, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And that was interesting because I got results from it. It was pretty amazing. I had it sitting in the chair swing at the playground and no wind. The swing wasn't moving. It wasn't moving the bear around, and I was still getting sound fluctuations from it, which is neat.
Well, I definitely, like I said last week, I definitely wish I could see more and feel more. It just never works.
Question to everybody here on the screen. Does anybody know anybody that goes by Lipid?
No.
Not that I can recall.
No.
I had somebody pop up in the backstage and it said Lipid, and I'm like, have no clue who it is. But yeah, I mean, I definitely like using myself as an instrument, and when I go to a location, I really don't want to know much about it until after I get a feeling for it and the names that I get, and then to verify it, and even like Alfredo said, some that come across or equipment, some of the names to go back and then verify it, But some of us being a team lead, we've got to go in and find out the information before to keep our team safe before we even go into locations as well. So
I can understand both desires to not know anything and have it verified, have your intuition verified, and going in knowing everything, knowing all the details as you go into a site. Me, I'm a historian. I like to know everything I possibly can about a site before going in.
mm-hmm.
I also feel that, and I understand the opposite point of view, Roger. I promise I do. But I really feel that you can get better evidence by knowing something about the site before you go in, because then you can tailor your questions in an EVP session to what you're kind of looking for, if that makes sense. If you're on a college campus and you're looking for somebody who haunts the science lab, you're not going to go to the science lab and start asking questions about basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Target your approach.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially in a big location.
Yeah. So let me ask you this real quick, Sylvia. Do you think knowing the history behind it, do you think it slightly influences on what comes up?
I grant that it possibly would. If you're in Gettysburg and you are in the orphanage, and you're not going to be looking for stories about soldiers on the battlefield. I mean, you're going to be looking for stories about lost orphans. And I understand how that would color an investigation a little bit. But for me, I really enjoy having the possibility of connection that I wouldn't otherwise have if I wasn't asking questions that were tailored to the site. That's what excites me, is that possibility of connection.
Mm-hmm. Sagrat here has a question. What has been some of the best catches during an investigation you have had? I'll actually show a few videos here in a little bit of some of the ones I've got. But how about you, Susan?
I would say it was the very first investigation that I was at. We investigated a funeral home. Well, it was a previous funeral home. It got converted to a residential. As we walked in, we noticed the carpet on the floor was, hey, Victor, was sort of buckled. So we actually pulled the carpet back and we found the chute. What was happening was that they were putting the bodies in the chute down to the basement where the embalming was. So we proceeded to go down the basement. The lights were out. We did go down there previously with the lights on. There were no mirrors or anything. Everything was just clear and straightforward. As we were going down the stairs, a team member of mine said, I hear something. So she turned around and snapped a quick picture. Now that picture, I still need to watermark it, but that picture actually has detail of an old undertaker. It shows his face, it shows his hat, and it actually shows his hands like reaching out with like energy inside of it.
That's cool.
So, and that was our very first investigation. So that was pretty cool.
Alfredo?
Tell your story from Whispers.
It would have to be at the Rock Island Roadhouse. I was actually there with Illinois Paranormal Research Group, also with Eternal Paranormal, and we were on the 4th floor, looking into the shadow figure. It was myself. Oh, and also CNR Paranormal were there. They're the ones that hosted.
Yeah.
And Ryan Schroeder and Ryan from Illinois Paranormal and myself were on the 4th floor, and we were walking around, and we were following what sounded like a woman's voice somewhere in the hallways up there. And while Ryan and Ryan were conducting their experiments on one hallway of the 4th floor, I wandered off to the opposite side where the known shadow figure tends to be hang out on the 4th floor. And as I was walking towards one of the rooms, Ryan says, "Did you hear that?" They were walking right behind me when I called for them. Then they started walking away. I stayed behind, and I heard in one of the rooms, it was completely black, and there was sounded like scraping along the wall. And then a tap. It's like, that might be something. I'm looking in the room, and I felt this wave of like, not dread, but heaviness of like, kind of like sadness, but it wasn't threatening. And I was looking at the wall, and I could see what appeared like a shadow against the wall. And as I was walking closer, I was going to see if it would move. And the next thing I knew, a bat flew at my face, and I ducked. I screamed, and I was like, oh man, my first jump scare. That was literally my first jump scare. I usually don't scare so easily because I was expecting to see a spirit, not a bat. But the bat flew at me. Now here's the kicker. This was actually caught on video by CNR and by Eternal Paranormal. I think Derek McFadden caught it. And
I got something to say when you get done with that one.
we were reviewing the tape, and we saw the bat coming out of the room flying at me. But just before the bat was coming out, there was a shadow right in front of my face. Before the bat flew at me, during the bat flew at me, after the bat flew at me, and when I was ducked and running away, the shadow was still there, then disappeared. That's actually on my TikTok, on my YouTube, and Derek actually caught that footage too.
That's cool. It's funny that you mentioned Derek, because I was there at the Rock Island Roadhouse as well with Derek and Eternal Paranormal one night, and we were investigating the place. And we were downstairs in the basement down by the portal room, or I should say the vortex room. A bat came out of nowhere and hit him right square in the chest, and he took off running. And then he comes back and starts shining the light up there. And I'm like, now you're gonna have him attacking us. Just leave him alone.
I tell you what, though, by the end of the night, when everyone else was done investigating for the night, Derek, Ryan Schroeder, and myself went back up to the 4th floor, did spirit box session up there. We were there for probably an hour. with the bats, and Derek had his bat deflector hat on. You know what? We stuck it out. You know, we had a couple of jumps, but we stuck it out. Like we actually got some pretty good spirit box and EVP session through Ryan Schroeder's equipment, which was really cool.
Yeah, Derek's a character. I love those guys.
Yeah,
Eternal
they're
Paranormal.
I love working with them. They're
David, you guys.
I've got a good story.
Oh
So-
no.
This happened when I was a little bitty baby ghost hunter. A group of friends of mine and I went to a ghost tour in Macomb, and one of the very first place we went was the Little Stitches Sewing Shop on the square. Try saying that 5 times fast. So. So we were running around the building in the dark. It was absolutely wonderful, and we all of us crowded into one of the back rooms on the first floor of it, and not much going on. So everyone kind of traipsed out. But the guide said, "Well, a couple of you hang back because I think I heard some hangers rattling in the corner over there." So it was the guide, it was Sherry, my friend next to me, and I was standing next to her, and I had my flashlight in one hand, my right hand, and my DVR in my left hand. And Sherry's snapping pictures because she's really good at capturing photo evidence. I'm standing there, and all of a sudden from my left, I hear somebody fart. It's not some pants shredding blast or anything like that. It's this tiny, polite little poop. But I have the sense of humor of a 12-year-old boy. So my first reaction was, so we decided to rejoin the rest of the group. And so Sherry turns around and I turn my flashlight on just out of morbid curiosity. I was wondering who stood next to me, who cut the cheese. And as I swung my flashlight around, I realized that not only was no one standing next to me, I was standing next to a solid wall. I said, "Oh, I think people need to hear about this." So we rejoined the rest of the group, and I said, "All right, I know everyone's going to laugh at me for this, but this is what I heard." And I told everyone, and everyone's rolling on the floor going, "Oh, right, you heard a ghost fart. Whatever. Oh, that's so funny." I said, "No, I stand by my experience." So we drove home, and at the time, Gail was our tech person, so I gave her my DVR for the evening. And so Saturday night, drive home, hand her the DVR. And Sunday morning, she texts me. She goes, "I found your ghost fart on the tape." And I texted back, "I told you so." And that afternoon, she sends me an email. And she's not laughing quite so hard. She said, "You have to listen to this." So she sends me 2 sound files. I play the first one. Poop. I play the second one. Hello? She slowed it down. So not only did I catch a pretty good EVP, I also heard it with my naked ear, which I thought was right. So that's my ghost fart story.
That's a fun story.
Thank you.
I told you guys backstage last week, but we were at Whispers Estate back in February, and they had said there's this one closet door that opens a lot. And I go in kind of skeptical, believer attitude, and it's like, "Oh yeah, okay, sure." And he showed us a video, and I was like, "Well, all right." So I was setting up like a DVR camera, and the door opened itself, and I checked it out, and I was looking for any sort of trigger mechanism or something where, like, the owner's remotely messing with us or anything. Couldn't find anything.
Jenkins.
Yeah. Knocked on the wall, jumped up and down in front of the door, walked back and forth, and it didn't open it. All right, this is pretty interesting. So I wandered off alone, as you're not supposed to do, and I went upstairs, and I thought, well, I'll go in there, see if I can get this door to open. And I walk up next to it, and it's kind of right on my left side here, and I was panning the camera around the room, and right when you point it in front of me, there's like a old waterfall dresser, big oval mirror, and you can see me and the door on that mirror. It's not quite on screen yet, but you can see my arm is at my side.
Mm-hmm.
And just then I hear the antique brass doorknob very loudly go kerchunk, and the door starts opening, and I just barely was able to maintain my professionalism. I went, holy moly. Nobody in the closet, and they had like bracelets with a bell on all the doorknobs upstairs. And when you play it back, not only do you hear the door open loudly, you hear the bell go ding, like it got moved by the doorknob turning. So that was my good one. I was like, yeesh.
That's cool. I like to holler at Ravenwolf. She's in the house, and Carla from Horror Horrors in the house as well. I told you guys I'd show you a video of something I captured at a trailer park one night, and here it is. I think this is the part here.
My family?
The dolls are just regular, ordinary dolls, and it was setting off the REM pod. There's no electronics in the
It'll
dolls.
make you feel nice and strong if you keep touching. Come on.
Well, I've got some in my bag. I can put energy in this.
You got Sparky?
I got Sparky here.
Yeah, go get Sparky.
I got Sparky.
Wow.
Come on. I see the green. Can you bring me back to red?
We can give it some energy.
Please hear my voice.
Mm.
I hear your voice.
I have some bad
Wow.
rocks from Skylar.
There you go. Okay, there's green. Now bring me back to red.
You want some energy? Take it up to yellow for me.
Good job.
All these we found
Now can you get me to yellow?
I'll give you some energy if you get it to yellow.
Come on. Come on. You got it. Oh, come on. There. That's nice and strong. I see that. Let's go back to red. Show me red.
Hey, Nathan Elwell.
Come on.
We were
There
doing
you go.
volunteer work
Now
at
bump into
Camp
red.
Comanche in Ottawa, and they let us stay at the camp overnight. And I had taken my REM pod
Good
with
job.
me. Dave said he heard somebody walking around in the lodge we were in the night before.
Some energy.
So I just switched the REM pod on in the
Don't
middle
like
of the lodge,
nothing.
and I was reorganizing stuff. And all of a sudden, they were just giving us hits. And if I talked to it, it would stop. But if Sylvia talked to it, it would start back up.
Yeah, that was part of it. I think I've got another one. Where we've got a laser grid up, and you can see a shadow around them as well. Hang on, let me see if I can find the image here real quick.
Yeah, that one up in Ottawa, when we fell asleep in that cabin, I sensed something there. And then I told him the next morning, go, it's Girl Scouts camp. Ain't really not going to be nothing here. And then we find out from the owners, oh, yeah.
Yeah. So these are the same. These right here are the same dolls, and we got a laser grid up. And I think maybe I got the Tesla coil running too, but you can see a shadow in the background of it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it won't play. Hang on. What happened there? Hang on a second. Let me get it again. Right here. Here we go.
Good job. I can see the green.
Give it
Come
Sparky.
on. Can you get me up to red?
I'm gonna have to take this off.
How old are you, Joyce?
Yeah, and at the very beginning, like I said, you can see a shot in the background of there.
Tall.
Okay, you can turn the light back on.
Nah,
Oh,
just
it's
leave it
green-
off for
so green
Sparky.
and yellow.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw that
well, I
one
need to,
right there,
see
that's
here
one.
real quick.
Come on, bring it on. Get that energy.
Come on. Show me
Come
red.
on.
The guy that's standing there, we originally went to his house and we caught two orbs in his trailer,
Really close by.
Take my
and we
energy.
went down to his neighbors, and this is what we caught there.
Good
Come
job.
on.
Can you get me to yellow?
Take it to the next one.
It's not gonna reach all the way.
Come on.
Okay, just
I have
set
good
it on
energy
there.
for you.
This is my home.
Yeah.
Come on.
This is my home.
That's good as long as it's a good home.
Come on. Can you get me back to yellow? You were doing so good. Come on. Show me green strong. Woo.
It doesn't look. Hang on.
Yeah, we ended up turning on the Tesla coil and giving it a little more energy that night, and we got quite a bit of activity out of that.
They work.
Told you I wanted to build a Tesla coil for doing that. Well, a lot of years ago, we had a kind of a hypothesis. We never tested it out, but one of the common themes of going into a place is you get battery drain. You know, devices are just going flat and everything. We had the idea of getting like a small deep cycle battery and just taking that along and just there you go.
Yeah, my Tesla coil actually plugs into the wall, so it does really well. So,
Have you ever used water?
Water?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you start to see the shimmer in it. Mm-hmm.
I used to use high pigmented. This is one of them I got when I was up in Chillicothe at that cemetery we were talking about earlier. Someone had set one of those eternal candles up. It was a small one, an older one. They'd put this LED light in it, and I wanted to see the what we would get, and so I put it was no wind out, about 75 degrees, and took a glass of water, set it on the tombstone shelf on the bottom, and dropped one drop of high pigmented purple ink into it. If it's high pigmented, it's just going to stay in one spot. It's not going to disperse. But the spirits can actually manipulate a high pigmented ink in water.
That's interesting. I've used water for scrying.
Yeah,
I've done that. So, and that's interesting to do as well. But that's an interesting concept, the pigmented ink. I'll have to check that out. That's a good idea.
It has to be the high pigmented ink.
I will have to check that out. I'll have to do some experiment with that one. We got Nathan Elwell in the house as well. And I'd like to thank everybody who stopped in tonight. So far, we've got quite a few in here tonight.
Hey, Sean, did you get those videos I sent you?
Videos you sent me.
I don't know if you can share it from that link, but
you can share them on your screen if you put present or invite at the bottom of your screen, and then I can bring them up on screen.
Oh, actually, I'm broadcasting from my phone, and I'm using my laptop to follow our stream, so I can see.
Because I don't know if I can actually get them transferred over quick enough.
No, I thought it.
But I know we got you scheduled for season 4, and we can bring them up for that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Haunted objects. What do you guys think, Susan?
You have to ask me, don't you?
Yes, I do. Ask you.
I'm honestly, I have to be truthful. I'm 50-50 on them. A lot of objects you could actually put spirits in it.
Yes, very true.
You know, I haven't honestly, you know, a lot of people say that if there's something present, you know, like belonging to a past owner that passed away, it could very well, the owner could very well be in a doll, or it could be in a painting, etc. But I haven't come across any haunted objects per se.
I've actually came across some objects. We've, like I said, those dolls that we crossed there in that video. We've come across some mirrors that were portals that we've had to close down.
Would you go about that? Like mirrors and portals?
I noticed when there's a portal within a mirror, it actually has a real high vibration on it, and you can actually feel the energy off it, and it's pretty intense. And then to close it down, you'll have to do a little ritual to do it, but you can close it down and close that portal. And never face your mirrors face to face either, because that's a big no-no.
What do you guys think about the Devil's Toy Box?
I was going to bring that up, actually.
The Devil's Toy Box. Is that a Dibbit box?
No, that's where you build a box with mirrors facing each other, so all sides face inward. And then some people put it inside like a wooden box. The hypothesis is a spirit can get in there and then trapped because it bounces off its own reflection. I've seen it used, and it's like, and they claimed the box was moving and making noises from inside, but nobody had the forethought to put a microphone to it. So I'm like,
Interesting. I know David Jarvis, a friend of mine. He entraps spirits and he can put them into objects. And I've learned from other people on how to do that as well because I've actually done that. But I've never heard of the devil's box being like that. That's kind of an interesting concept.
How would you go about disposing if you needed to dispose of?
Yeah, how do you release it?
Oh, that was the hilarious part. So it was like down in the South, and they had captured it and they carried it out of the home and stuff. And then the next day, they took it out to like a stream out in the middle of nowhere and literally lit it up with dynamite. Just boom! And I was like, that's one way to disperse energy, I guess.
I don't know.
Some people bury it too.
Yeah, burying it was
didn't get a flash burn.
Would there be like a concern of like it transferring onto another object or attaching to like a human? Do you think?
I think that's entirely possible. I've heard of haunted people as well as haunted places and objects.
One of my top 5 favorite places in England was the Museum of Haunted Objects in Nottingham. And oh my gosh, 3 whole floors of nothing but haunted objects. It was fantastic. And one of the they have cameras set up on some of these objects, and they do experiments. That the people who run the museum actually use it for an experimentation place as well. They had a dollhouse where they had put talcum powder on the floors and a couple of cameras at different angles inside the dollhouse, and they captured a child's handprint in the talcum powder. There were 2 portraits of a man and a woman in their, I don't know, mid-30s or so, that they were necromancers in the well, there were some sort of mancers in the Victorian era, and that the theory, the lore goes that they had put themselves into these portraits so they could be together forever. And the lore said that the portraits had to be facing each other on the wall, where the man was looking at the woman and the woman looking towards the man. So they deliberately placed them looking away from each other just to see what would happen. The thing I found really fascinating was on the first floor, they had a pretty big display of a Victorian hand cart, a funeral hand cart. You know, we see these gorgeous black filigree horse-drawn characters for Victorian funerals, but this was a cart that was designed to be pulled by a couple of humans. It had just a handle. So they had a camera on this cart, and at about 3:00 in the morning one night, the camera captured, I see if I can replicate this. The hand cart, the handle was down here at just lying on the floor. And just as quick as this, the camera captured the handle going up and then down. And they had that on a loop on display next to the cart. It was really, really neat.
You were talking about handprints on a vehicle with baby powder.
Yeah, that's just picking up the oils from your hands. It's just bringing the oils out.
Yeah. Well, that night I actually washed the car and we went to a place called Crybaby Bridge. And the car, and we actually put the car in neutral, and it actually rolled back as well. So, but that was like before, and we had all little different weird handprints on it. And like I said, we had it all buffed out before we went. But yeah, I know the oils of the car will make handprints and stuff. But those were a little different. But they say at the Crybaby Bridge is where a bridge or a school bus went off the bridge, and some kids were killed in the school bus at the time. And you park your car on the bridge and put it in neutral, and your car will roll backwards. And that's what happened. We got prints off it when it happened. So
That's interesting.
There's an old Richard Crowe. I think it was on the Richard Crowe VHS. I'm dating myself here, but there's an old. I know it was an Unsolved Mysteries one where it was a school bus that was killed at a railroad crossing, and your car will get. It looks like it gets pushed uphill, but unfortunately, it's been debunked. It's a great story because the handprints show up and the car rolls uphill and gets pushed off the tracks, but there's no record of collision ever happening at that particular crossing. And it's an optical illusion. It looks like you're going uphill, but you're actually going downhill. It's like sometimes I hate when things get debunked because it's such a good story.
Yeah, but that night it was definitely interesting. And like I said, even that weird handprint that come up for no reason is kind of like looked like a claw or paw mark of some type. But that was a weird one too. So, but yeah, I mean. I know the oils and stuff can definitely do that as well, and etc. But my daughter and her friends wanted to go out to that bridge because we used to go out there when we were in high school, and I used to walk the girders of that bridge, and we would hear things out there when we were in high school. So they heard wind of it. It's like, hey, let's go. So we all got in the car one night, and that's what we did. We went out to Crybaby Bridge close to us. So. But now they've shut down the bridge and it's barricaded. You can't get on it no more.
How far up the bridge were you on before you began that experiment? Were you like at the beginning of the bridge, middle, or like towards?
Just sitting right in the middle of it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was just wondering because I know the way bridges are made, they're kind of made at a slight bow.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard stories of people parking on a bridge and it rolls back, but they don't take a level with them or a plumb to see that the it would literally at that when I stuck in neutral, it literally pushed the car and the back tires off the bridge. So, but it was an interesting night that night. Like I said, we used to go there when we were younger in high school, and they wanted to check it out for themselves. So, but yeah, so, but. Other than that, haunted objects, as in the fact of, like I said, you know, I've come across a stuffed horse, and we had the obelisk out, and that horse was giving off a lot of energy and stuff, and it kept kind of cussing us to begin with. And we took it out in the backyard of this residence that we were at, and we set it afire that night. And all you heard was moaning and screaming over the obelisk and calling us every name in the book.
I guess that raises an interesting question for the group and everybody watching at home. What do all of you think of objects being able to be possessed? Like instead of a haunted object, possessed object, rather than being kind of like a beacon? Thoughts on that?
Like cursed, do you mean, or?
Well, I mean, you know, I think the most famous possessed doll would be the Annabelle doll. Whether that would be, I mean, what's your opinion? Is that more of a haunted object or kind of a possessed object? I just kind of wanted to get your thought.
I would say I actually, hang on a second. I got something here I'll bring up here real quick. Let me find this here real quick.
Me? I feel that I think it's kind of like a portal. That's just my opinion.
Kind of like
it could be a potential device, a potential inanimate object that could potentially be used as not necessarily possessed or haunted, but as a portal, similar like, you know, mirrors or in walls, like a door.
I remember watching an episode of Unsolved Mysteries where they had gotten a bunk bed at an antique store, and then house just became a hotbed of paranormal activity. One night the homeowner got home and it looked like his garage was on fire. And then when they were trying to move out, like there was a jet of flame that came out of they had a lamp on the floor without a shade on it. And a jet of flame came out of the light bulb in the lamp. So I definitely believe objects can not only be haunted, but like you said, a beacon to come here.
Like an opening for them to manifest toward you. Yeah, definitely. I actually had the opportunity to see Annabelle when she was at the Rock Island Roadhouse. And I was standing there and I could feel more energy personally off the people there being kind of fearful of the object more than Annabelle herself, if that makes any sense.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And the spirit wasn't necessarily Annabelle that allegedly possessed this doll. It wasn't it a demon apparently with the
Yeah.
Yeah, and see that's kind of more of the question. Like, I think that personally, the objects can be, like I said, like a beacon. I mean, if you have a space that's completely dark, and then all of a sudden, you have this really bright light or something, a sound calling you to it. I think that objects can be latched onto. But as far as I've had this conversation with a few people about possessed dolls, possessed cars, and stuff like that. The thing of possession is that that's kind of a demonic thing, and they can't really possess inanimate objects. They can manipulate them, kind of like what you were saying, Alfredo. They were kind of just using that as a, hey, I'm this little girl, or whatever.
Right.
But the ultimate goal with that is possessing a person,
right.
To take care, take hold of that person's body and be able to use it. But the beacon thing is more kind of what I see haunted objects being. I've seen some really crazy stuff from antique stores and old abandoned places. Somebody, oh, well, that's really cool. And they take home this, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose in their house. And it's like, what did we do different? Oh, get that out of here, Right. So, and the bringing a priest in to bless the house and stuff, and it doesn't work. And the burning of sage and everything that they tell you to do, and it doesn't work. And just got to get that thing out of there.
It's like an anchor object.
Yeah, it just something can't.
Dragon Ranger here, he brings up something. He says, rumor there's more than one Annabelle doll, which if that is true, then who knows if which one is on tour is the real one. I have actually heard that as well. And it's possibly true. I won't disagree with that. It's possibly true. There could be more than one. But there was also objects they brought from the museum there that the energy off them was crazy. Like some of the stuff they have, I've got pictures of that as well. A shrunken monkey head they've used in sacrifices that they brought with them. And something called the Devil's Sword, which was really interesting. If I could have put that one in my bag and took it home that night, I would have took the Devil's Sword with me. That one was really cool. I liked that one.
Go in and see Annabelle for that tour because I went to the same expo. I met with the other vendors and stuff like that. It was very difficult being in that building with all that energy in there. It wasn't just so much the people. It was just there's so much energy in that building. I was getting so nauseous. I had to leave. It
was rather hectic there and hot. Beastly hot.
Yeah. The energy that I felt there, like you said, Alfredo, there was a lot of energy there for sure because the building itself. But I think the fact that people that were coming in wanting to see Annabelle, and having that little bit of fear and not knowing but wanting to see it, it amplified everything.
It did, and I couldn't last in that building for that long.
That was a weird day. That was a weird day.
Yeah, that was a really crazy one. Susan,
Mm-hmm.
I know last time you said sometimes I've missed a few comments. I've tried to get as many as I can here tonight.
Yep.
Is there any that I didn't catch by chance?
No, you caught them all. You're on top. You're on top.
I know last time one of the channels that we had we were advertising on went out. So I don't know if it was that one the last time, but it went out during the middle of the show. Have you have a haunted Annabelle doll 3 foot and dressed like a real Annabelle doll? No, I don't. That was just the one that I seen that they brought from the museum that night. Oh, she says she has a haunted Annabelle doll. Okay, cool. My mom brought it up last night. I was at a party, and she said it was really strange because when I was younger, I took a picture with a football when I was just barely able to hold one, and then I ended up being a big football player in high school at the time and got my picture taken and made all conference and stuff. And when I was younger, she brought up the fact it was strange that I had a Raggedy Ann doll as my buddy back then when I was younger. And then I took a picture with the Raggedy Ann Annabelle doll at the museum later in life. So it's kind of like a circle.
Now it's Sequania.
I've got a really, really old. I've still got part of the box for it. It's extremely old. It's a Howdy Doody doll.
Oh, no, keep that thing away from me.
One of the big ones. One of the big ones.
Howdy Doody always creeped me out. I'm 44, and I remember I'd never seen the Howdy Doody show, but just seeing the doll, like it always creeped me out.
Yeah, the doll gives you creeps.
Marionettes are.
Saw the movie Saw the marionettes. I'd like to have a original My Buddy doll from the Chucky.
Oh no!
I want one of those to sit at the top of my staircase.
Here's mine.
Could you imagine haunted Cabbage Patch dolls?
Oh no!
Oh,
There's been stories about that. I remember reading about that. Yeah, I remember reading about Cabbage Patch dolls getting weird things happening to them. And those, what's the new ones out now? Something Boo Boo.
Boo Boos.
yeah.
Little Boo Boo.
Do you guys remember those little? What were they? They look like bird mouth. Big old
Furby.
Furbies.
Yep.
Do you know how many people ask me if those things can be haunted?
Actually,
because there's so many people that swear they were all haunted.
My ex had a story that she had a cricket doll, which was like a little girl doll, and her grandparents, very, very religious people, don't believe in any of this stuff, and her grandmother would not allow that doll in her house because she claimed she saw it move and blink or something like that.
Oh.
No batteries in it.
I actually have seen them move without batteries in them. When I was younger and we used to have them around, the little Furbies. Yeah, and back then I wasn't into the paranormal field, so I never really thought a lot about it, and I thought somebody was just messing with me. But I got thinking about that, and I have actually seen them move without batteries.
Awesome.
That's pretty creepy.
You know, it's fun as putting a Black Sabbath tape into a Teddy Ruxpin.
Yes. We have two of those at my house as well.
And talking about portals and stuff, when I was younger, I lived in Rome, 3 miles south of Chillicothe, and I'd walk about 2 or 3 blocks to the school bus. I was coming home one winter down the street, and 3 other neighbors said they seen the same thing. And there was a little patch of woods at the end. You could almost see through, but there was a brush area towards the middle. And I was walking down through there, and I thought I seen a dog in front of me. I didn't think nothing of it. I'm walking down through there and down the street, and this thing looked massive. it looked like a saber-toothed tiger that you would see in a book.
Hmm.
And that's what it looked like. And that's what the neighbor said it thought it looked like. But as soon as I walked up behind it, it started to walk in the woods. The neighbor come out of her house, and her husband came out of her house to check on me. And he yelled, "It's a big cat." And to get away from it, well, I wasn't that intelligent. So I go walking up behind it, and it just kind of, you'd hear a deep guttural growl from this thing, and it walks into that brush and disappears.
That's cool.
We actually walked in there.
That's
I
cool.
wanted to see it,
Mhm.
but it disappeared. It was gone. So
See, at that point, I'd be standing there going, "Does anybody know what the opposite of is?"
Yeah.
but there's things that you can't explain, and you can try to debunk it, but at the end of the day, what your eyes and your senses and your brain tells you, it could either be a trick, or you could be seeing something that's gone through time.
Yeah.
They say the same thing about Bigfoot,
Hmm.
how he appears and disappears. But
Yeah.
that's been for years.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting.
I've got some friends that hunt for Bigfoot, and I've been invited to go down to North Carolina with them, Matt and Tim Dills. They've been on the show before, and we've discussed Bigfoot, and they say something about his fur has possibly kind of got a chameleon stuff to it as well. So that's why they can disappear so easily.
Well, I'm
So
trying to
there's-
get these guys to go to Michigan to go look for Dogman.
Nope.
Well, they got him down there too, right
Oh,
where
yeah.
he said he was. They actually got a picture of one of the dogmen, I think, that we've seen one time on one of the shows. But yeah, look up Matt and Tim Dills, and I think it'll probably be on their Facebook page or one of their team pages. So, but they've got a dogman picture too.
Wow.
Wow.
Hmm.
My dad said he encountered one as a little kid in the Kankakee Forest Preserve between here and Chicago. And he's looked up a lot of stories and stuff on them, and it just sounds like that's not something I want to mess with.
Hmm.
Yeah. I had a fish portal in my house one night and wishing I could see everyone there. It was I got pictures. Yeah, I have seen some very interesting pictures Laura has sent me about some of the things she's captured. And they got faint images of faces in them as well. They're pretty interesting as well. But we are at the top of the hour, guys. I'd like to thank you guys for coming on tonight. We will have round 3 next week, the final round of the round table, and talking about faking evidence and some of the videos we've seen and kind of dig into some of that. And maybe if you guys got a video you've seen that, we can pop up and we can look at it and see what we think of it as well. That's fine. You can bring them to us or, and we'll look at them. But, one thing that I do, if I ever do an investigation, I always go live. And I think Alfredo knows this because I've worked with him. I go live, and what you see is what you get.
Mhm.
And there's no way that I'm going to fake anything about it because I like my name. I like to keep my name, and everything about my team I want to keep authentic because I do it for the research, the information, and the knowledge, not in it just to find the viewers. I do it because I love this job and I like doing it. And I like working with a lot of good teams that are serious about doing it as well. So, but let's make sure we check here and see if we got any more here. We got Shane McLean in the house. Bigfoot is a mutated animal. Okay, great show. Thank you, Laura.
Bigfoot saw me once, but nobody believes him.
Hmm.
I don't have them saved on my hard drive, Laura. I've got them still on my phone. One of these days, I'll have you on the show and we can discuss those.
I have a question about Bigfoot. I'm not a big cryptid researcher. That's not the field I've ever investigated in. Now, is Bigfoot just one, or is there more than one?
I'm
That's
sure
a
there's
great question.
I think there's more than one.
Yeah.
Bigfoot, you got Yeti, you've got just new more
Sasquatch,
versions of
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Skunk ape,
Mhm.
swamp ape.
The rock apes in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a question up here. It says, "How do you fake evidence?" Oh, that's freaking insane. I've seen videos.
Yeah.
People
That's yeah.
taking marbles and toss them across the room and all sorts of shit.
Line, CGI, and now you got AI. There's lots of ways to
Mhm.
fake evidence.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
lots.
fishing string, spider webs, pulling them and shit. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I don't believe in. Because like I said, when you see it live on my video, it happens right there when we're there. So you see it when I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a great question, and we can answer that
Next
week.
Yeah.
That's all next week. And that'll be like a 4-hour episode.
Yeah.
I definitely got to agree, Laura. I like Susan's outfit. I always like how she's got her cape and she's in her little cathedral room there.
It's a very creepy vibe when I see it.
I actually got a robe on one time, and we did a Halloween night. We did that. We did a show one night and let them try to figure out who I was. So, but yeah, we are at the top of the hour, and like I said, I'd like to thank everybody that stopped in tonight. Check us out next week. We will talk about, like I said, fake stuff and BS and maybe a little bit debunking as well, because like I said, I know a lot of good teams that are really good at what they do, and they're in it for the knowledge, the information, and to find out what it is, and no joking around, horseplay, and they like to keep it real and authentic because, like me, I like to keep my name authentic. I don't want nothing to do with fake crap and or teams that actually do that either. So, but we'll kind of discuss that next week as well a little bit. And let's see, Tracy's in the house. Hello, Tracy. And yeah, that was Halloween night. We did that. But thank you, everybody. Stay backstage. And I'm going to close out the show. And thank you, everybody, again, for stopping in, asking questions.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody, for your support as well. The Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal appreciates it as well. And you all have a great night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.